Hey guys, Movie Fan here to give you a little update on Cosplay Tuesday. Now, as you already know, I made a Megazord costume completely out of cardboard and duct tape. Well, a few months back, I actually wore it to a Comic Con, and I had a blast. I had a ton of fun doing it because, it was great seeing all the people want to take my picture. They absolutely just loved it. They just loved seeing me. I even had a couple guys jokingly call me Optimus Prime, and that's cool. That's cool. I could dig that. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that at all. But, a lot of people, they just absolutely loved it. And if you're going to ask me, did I try for the costume contest? Yes, I did. But unfortunately, I didn't win. But, that's okay. I didn't expect to. Because, I've been to these contests before. I never truly competed in one. I just showed off one time. That's about it. But I've seen some of the costumes these cosplayers do, and they do great work. Way better than me. So I'm not surprised. However, there were a lot of people who said I should have at least won the amateur edition, and that's cool. It's great to hear that there was still a lot of people who were saying, dude, you should have won. You really should have won. And thanks to all y'all for saying that, because that's really awesome. I wasn't disappointed really, but it's still nice to hear that. And I will admit though, this was kind of odd that for some reason they just had first place and no others. I don't know. I mean, it's just normally you have second, third, that sort of thing. But it's okay. It's okay. It's no big deal. Anyway, besides the costume contest, I wanted to tell you what happened while I was traipsing around in that costume. Well, I immediately discovered that there were a few design flaws. I cannot lie. There were a few design flaws. For instance, I discovered that the way I put my shoes into the soles of the Megazord's feet, I apparently did not have them aligned properly because this is pretty much what happened. So I had to adjust my leg in order to compensate so I wouldn't kick into my own foot, which unfortunately did happen a few times. And well, the results weren't exactly ideal because, well, that's what happened. I kicked my own foot a few times, and unfortunately, this is what happened because don't forget, this is the left leg. So, that's what happened. So, live and learn. And, at the same time, I also discovered that if you have like a thin EVA foam just covered in duct tape, unfortunately, this will rip over time. And I only just wore it for about a day. So, that was annoying, but, it's a simple fix, but, it's still kind of annoying. The worst part was definitely about the feet thing, but there was one that I did discover to be a lot worse, and that would be the arms right here, mostly the fists. Now, when I did this like so, as I already told you, I've got a stick in here that I just hold on to, and it works pretty well like this. Unfortunately, I put in the power sword, and that proved to be a little heavy for it. Now, it held up for a while, but as you might be able to see right here, it started to rip. In fact, I'll listen to the microphone. See? Yeah, you can see it starting to come apart right there because, the weight of the sword was really becoming a problem. However, it did manage to hold on until that point. So, it went all right. If anything, that was a pretty big design flaw that I should have considered, but I figured I'd take the chance, because I went to all that trouble. Plus, I didn't want to, make another version. Anyway, of course, the helmet proved to be a big problem. It actually sat pretty good on my head, and it did all right. Unfortunately, I had two big problems. One, I had a heck of a time breathing under there. I mean, I had it forward enough, but it should have went down. But as anybody knows, when they wear a helmet like that, it's not enough. No matter what you do, it is just not enough. And well, the crown design unfortunately didn't sit on my head too well. In fact, it was a little more shallow than I thought. It's funny. I tested it and it worked, but for some reason it kept slipping, and it would be like whoa, 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 whoa. So I had a heck of a time adjusting it. And if you're going to ask about the upper arms, yes, there was a problem there. The problem was the fact that because there was no way to like attach it to my shoulders, at least I couldn't find a way. I just had to hold it stiff to my body, and well, after a while, that I was pretty sore the next day. But it's okay, people. I'm not complaining too much. I did a project, I made it work, and I came out of it all right. And a lot of people still loved the work, so I can't complain too much. And this is not me complaining. All I'm saying is what we have here is basically a design flaw. I'm just gonna have to try to redo a few things, and either way, this is my first big project doing something like this, because beforehand, what I did was I just made a Blue Ranger costume, as you saw in a previous video. And, all I did was just get a shirt and pants and just put some diamonds on it and, grab a belt and all that stuff. So that wasn't a huge problem. But as you may have guessed, working with that is a lot lighter than working with a lot of cardboard and duct tape. So, yeah, it's okay. I'll just have to refigure my designs. I'll just have to try to redo it down the road. Who knows? Maybe I'll tinker with EVA foam or something. I don't know. But obviously, I'm going to have to rethink how to do this. If I want to do the power sword, I'm going to have to do it where I could just have this on my arm and just wear a pair of gloves like they did on, well, Power Rangers. Because as we all remember, every time the power sword is on, most of the time anyway, you see a gloved hand, a regular gloved hand grab the sword. Of course, you also see a stiff hand holding it, but, anyway, that's obviously something I'm going to have to figure out down the road, but no rush. Obviously, for the legs, I'm going to have to find a way to do something about that alignment of the shoes. That's very important. I'll have to get this back in order big time. Maybe I'll start over. I don't know, but it's okay. It's not a huge problem. The helmet, again, definitely got to find a way to breathe. Very important. And to work on that crown so it stays put. Very important. And the shoulders, yeah, definitely got to find a way to attach those to my shirt or something. But it's okay. I'm not worried about it. That just gives me something more to do later. In the words of Willy Wonka.
Oh, well, I'll get it right in the end.
And to anybody who's interested in trying to do this, I say go for it. I mean, even if you have a little trouble to try to make it more mobile, I'm sure you can find a way. I know I'm going to find a way sooner or later. And believe it or not, it turns out I actually did a little more inspiring than I first thought. Because I actually had a conversation with someone on YouTube named Watchman. He watched all my parts on making the Megazord costume, and he had a few questions for me. Like how long did it take and all that stuff. And of course, I answered back about how long it took and why it did, and so on and so forth. And I did talk about the problems that I had at the Comic Con that, well, I just told you about. Well, it turns out he actually made a Megazord costume himself based off of my instructions. And it's not quite complete yet, but he actually wore it at his local Comic Con, and he actually got a lot of compliments for the work. And he tells me that they actually won the family category, which is totally awesome. I'm really glad that they won. And I'm glad that I was able to inspire this project. Now, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. It's just nice to know that when you put a video forth like this, it's good to know that somebody actually listened to your advice, took it, and made it happen. Hopefully, sooner or later, maybe I'll have some more for you, because deep in my mind, I am thinking of a few other things. But that could be a little while down the road. Until then, this is Movie Fan, signing off.